Hello and welcome to part 22 of my Elden Ring All Endings, All Quests guide. We've just wrapped up Rani's quest. We're going to get a few more items in this area. And the first thing we need to do is head to the Ringleader's Everjail. So ride this way. Make your way down here. And when you get to the Everjail, be prepared for quite a tough fight. Probably recommend you use your Mimic here. This is one which I don't succeed on first attempt. Again, we're going for the usual buffs and the usual Frenzied Flame themed methods of attack. Takes me a couple of goes and I try a few different strategies here. But we'll slow it down for the actual successful run, let's say. This is worth the effort though, because you do get a really good summon after this battle, which probably, depending on what your actual build's like, might even be better than the Mimic's tier. So do persevere. So we put the buffs on as usual, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and we've given ourselves Madness to activate the Dumpling Helm. Should have probably gone for critical there. We need to make sure we keep our health up. This enemy actually has an attack which reduces your max HP. And it also has a projectile attack which causes bleed. The actual summon you get out of completing this battle is very useful for large HP enemies that are quite mobile, like things like the gargoyles and Malekith. Obviously, it may be that your Mimic is more effective. It depends on what your build's like. Just make sure you keep your health up for this fight because some of these attacks are quite powerful. Do look out for those projectiles and look out for the wind up for the big sort of web of death thing it builds occasionally like this one. Make sure you stay out of that. It's probably a one-hit kill for most setups. When you beat this enemy, it'll give you the summon Black Knife Tiche. And she is, like I say, quite exceptional. The only one that can really compete with Black Knife Tiche is the Mimic's tier, and that all depends on what your build's like. That's that big attack again. Got to make sure you avoid that one. Keep moving around. Keep your health up. There you go, that's the Black Knife Tiche summon ready to use. Next up, we're going to head to another boss, which is also one that can give me quite a bit of trouble. Probably unnecessarily, it probably shouldn't be as hard as it seems here. If you recall heading through Raya Lucaria Academy, the Red Wolf of Radagon, there's basically another version of that enemy here, which is quite significantly tougher. I'd probably actually skip past these Crystallians because they're just annoying and they don't actually give you a lot of runes or items or anything like that. When you get near to this area, the wolf will spawn. And very fast, very mobile, just quite a lot of damage, and just a bit of a jaunt to get back to him. I may have accidentally discovered a bit of a cheese in this one because, as you'll see on the one where I do actually succeed, I don't actually have to do very much fighting. Essentially, I just stand in a certain place and the wolf kind of walks off a cliff backwards and dies. Applying those buffs there. We really need this wolf out of the way though, so that we can gather up. Well, first of all, it's quite a reasonable amount of runes. Then we've got some items to gather up, and then it'll clear the way and make it easier for us to get to Chilona's Rise, which is where we need to go to get Rani's Darkmoon spell. Bit of a puzzle with that one. And again, it's I've only done this once before, so it does take me a little bit of exploration to remember where all the puzzle parts were. Right. I think we might be looking at a successful run now. Again, if you're doing this on new game, you'll probably find this significantly easier. I think at this point we decided, because we've got a lot of runes, we just level up our arcane to 37, just to boost the power of those incantations. So we've got a bit less to lose now. Make sure we've got all these damage buffs supplied. Then we're going to go for it. Enjoying a bit more success this time, but the trouble is every time he does get a hit in, it takes off a massive amount of damage. The way that he actually is going to get defeated is we're going to lead him towards the little pavilions at the edge of the cliff and get him around the back. And then there's a little move he does as a wind-up for one of his big jumping attacks where he leaps back a little bit. When he does the leap back, he basically just jumps off the cliff. Right, we must be onto the successful run now. Yeah. So if we ride behind here and kind of lure him over to us, we're looking at getting behind this pavilion, ideally, and then use it as a kind of barrier. So successfully doing some damage there, but then he's back in there, so we're going to go around, and if we step into the pavilion, basically he's just jumped off backwards, and that's given us 8,300 runes. So smithing stones to grab plenty. Then we're going to head down a path to the side to get to Chilona's Rise. And this one basically is got a seal on it, and you need to find 3 wise beasts and shoot them with an arrow. Sight of Grace to grab here. So the first one is actually the other side of the tower. I thought it was to the left, but it's actually to the right. So this is me looking but failing to find the first one. if you head through the Moongazer's ruins, do be aware that there are quite a few royal revenants that can pop out of the ground there. Also, when you're doing this puzzle, you can't fast travel as part of the puzzle. You've got to ride all the way around, and it's quite a long way between the 3 tortoises you need to hit. Just going to check my notes here. So there's the first one. Make sure you've got your bow equipped. Stand in the right spot and just shoot it with an arrow once. That done, we're going to ride this way. We need to head over here. So if we head back up to the top, then make our way across, obviously avoiding the dragons unless you feel like fighting them. Again, don't forget you're not allowed to fast travel in between these. You have to hit all of the tortoises without using the Sight of Grace. So when we get to there, head down the hill, and somewhere around here, if you just look over the cliff, there it is. One shot, and that will do that one. So we now need to head back towards the Ringleader's Everjail. And this third one is going to be up in the sky, floating. So what we need to do is, again, get close enough and then shoot it with a bow. You can use a spirit spring to leap up and swing at it in the air. But I'm going to use the bow. Just right back towards the Ringleader's Everjail. And that's pretty much, once we've done this and collected the spell, we're going to have more or less wrapped up this area. There are some other items to collect, so it might be worth exploring, but these are the main things, particularly Rani's Darkmoon. That is quite a powerful spell. So that's done all of the tortoises, so now we need to ride back to Chilona's Rise. The wolf won't respawn once it's been killed as well, so that's when you don't have to worry about now. When you get down to here, run in, run up the stairs, take the left, and there is Rani's Darkmoon. And that's one of the legendary sources, so you'll need that for your achievements. Once you've got that, we're going to head back to Rani's Rise, and Blythe is going to go a bit mad and attack us. This is why I said if you like Blythe and you don't want his armour, you don't want to have to fight him, maybe you should leave him inside the Forlorn Hound's Everjail. If you want his armour set though, this is where to get most of it. The wolf's head is somewhere different. That's on, I think it's a converted rise tower somewhere in Liurnia. So that's got the runes, that's got the royal greatsword and Blythe's equipment. So now we're going to head to speak to Tiche. There's all to do with Rani's quest here. He'll tell you a bit more about Rani and he'll be quite pleased with you, and he'll be confused as to how Blythe escaped from his cell. And again, this is a spoiler alert, bit of a sad moment here, but if you want to see the fate of Tiche, you need to leave the area and reload it. So just fast travel to the closest Sight of Grace, and again, quite what's happened to him and why, I don't really know. So, that done, we're going to travel to the top of here, and we're going to speak to Rani again, and this will be pretty much everything for Rani's quest now, at least until the end there. So, that's pretty much it for that episode. It's been a short one, but we've cleared out that area. And hopefully I'll see you in part 23. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe.